Listen, don't talk to me like I'm some kind of fucking chump, alright? Because I'm not. I'm a businessman, a family man, a man of people, a man of the church.
My manager's cool. He gets concerned. He says, Mitch, don't use liquor as a crutch. I can't use liquor as a crutch because a crutch helps me walk. Liquor really screws up the way I walk. It ain't like a crutch, it's like a step I didn't see.
A postman. I work at Jamba Juice. Okay, my dog is Spade.
Okay. Let's kill him. Let's kill this guy. Let's beat him to death with hammers.
I wear reading glasses. My daughter has braces. My eyebrows are shaved. And my friends are all geese.
It's called Rapist Beware.
You're in for a scare.
Jesus.
I have a shirt that reads, "If you don't like me, go fuck your mother." I am inside of the Matrix. I live in a home with no windows. I have lasers inside my brain.
What are you talking about? You have the morals of an alley cat.
So don't talk to me like I'm some kind of fucking chump, alright?
Welcome to Winning Time Tapes, another Pindown edition. This time we just watched SummerSlam 2002, and I am joined by Fox. Fox?
Yeah,
is that your opening thought?
That's literally my opening thought, because I'm remembering the three matches that I cared for the most. Brock Rock, and no, it wasn't Ash Benoit. It was RVD Benoit and Ray Angle.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, did not put Eddie over that one instead. You know, like Eddie versus Edge was good, but if I had to pick my top three, Rock Brock because it wasn't Triple H Michaels. Nothing against that one because it was nice. Eddie, no, not Eddie. I keep confusing them. Ray Angle, because it was a very good showcase of speed versus skill. Mm-hmm. Angle being the very veteran grappler, and Ray being the super fast, acrobat, which always good to see. And then my favorite, which it's personal favorite just because I love submission. So RVD Benoit. Also RVD, good lord.
Yeah, he had to take a lot.
Not only did he take a lot, but he also dished it too. Like he again, him and Benoit had a fight.
Little sad I didn't see a Van Daminator, my favorite wrestling move.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean,
but Benoit fucking was working that whole time, and just everything felt so snappy and fast.
That's the thing about Benoit. Is that's why he's using his physical gifts to his advantage. He's short, he's stocky, he's thick as hell, so he can put that whip energy into it. He can whip all of his moves because he's closer to the ground and just throws the guy. Yeah. Also, the triple dragon suplexes where he's just I'm just gonna do this whole thing and just get right back up and pick you up with and just do it again.
Some call him a psychopath.
I wonder why.
Before we get into more specifics of the matches, how'd you feel? This is your first SummerSlam watching end to end, compared to either other pay-per-views, or just what do you think of this environment of New York SummerSlam in the Attitude Era?
I don't know if I like the New York environment, but I do like the SummerSlam. SummerSlam just needs to be held in a much more open arena.
I think New York is always awkward if it's not MSG.
Yes.
Because it's always the ramp on the right side, and then just something about the stadium felt not normal, whereas X7 in Houston felt very right.
Yeah, no, again, it's just SummerSlam. It's SummerSlam in New York. It wasn't going to be good unless it was MSG. Because MSG literally is... A, MSG is synonymous with New York, and B, SummerSlam needs to be an open-air event.
Yeah, especially because, unlike the modern day where it feels like after Mania, it's the Rumble. That's the most important one. SummerSlam at this time was still the second biggest show of the year.
Yes, it was. It was SummerSlam and then Mania. The Rumble was only the lead-in into the Mania.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the third or fourth.
Yeah,
Because you had the big four, right?
Well, yeah, we also see in this era that Survivor Series still matters, which it has not since 2014 at least.
No, Survivor Series turned into bragging rights.
Yeah, pretty much. Just
Yeah.
Raw versus SmackDown every year.
Yeah, because what are the big four now? Money, Rumble, Mania. There's a fourth one in
Chamber.
there. Chamber? Is it Chamber or is it one of the international events?
I feel like Chamber just because, again, setting up Mania, and the whole event is around a gimmick match.
Yeah, because I'm always like hesitant to put anything that's not Crown Jewel because how much money is involved in Crown Jewel. Because there's a lot of money that goes into it. So there's no way they don't think of it as either a fifth or just the fourth main event. There's no way WWE corporate doesn't think of it as the big event.
The thing with, yeah, I'm sure WWE thinks of it because it always has results that are just like, would be great 20 years ago, like Undertaker winning,
Yeah.
Goldberg winning,
Yeah.
Lesnar wins that in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I mean they've been stepping it up recently, which is great. They needed those old heads to like make sure the event was legitimate in the eyes of the people, of the locals, you know?
Yeah.
Not just the locals, but the people who actually bought for the damn thing.
Yeah.
The people who pay for the damn thing, because the locals don't actually matter. But that's a discussion for another day. That's a discussion I don't want to get into. What I want to get into is that SummerSlam, whilst awkward, despite the fact that it was a little bit weird, it was still very solid. The wrestling itself was on point.
I'd have to look at other SummerSlams again, but for me right now, the only SummerSlams really in contention with that one are like 2009, because I had Punk, Hardy, and a huge DX match.
Yeah, that's a good one.
13, which was the Daniel Bryan Yes moment coming out party. And 92, which had the Savage Marriage.
1991.
And Bulldog getting carried by Bret Hart in that title match.
You're not lying, but still. Bulldog getting carried. I have more of a recency bias. I'm going to go ahead and confess. So the earlier SummerSlams are more exciting for me. Punk Hardy definitely is up there on one of the SummerSlams I want to watch.
Yeah.
The old ones, not so much, because as much as Savage is a really great guy and all that stuff, I don't care for the marriage.
Yeah.
I might want to see Bulldog getting carried just for the amusement of it.
Yeah,
and just to really solidify, Bret Hart really does work his ass off.
I think also 92 was described as like a great crowd being in England. That was like probably the best England WWE event.
Yeah, and then Clash of the Castle happened. And now they don't need England.
Yeah,
they have Scotland.
They have Scotland now.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh my god.
It's Andy with a toy.
Be nice to have that type of crowd though if they would put the belt on Barrett like they should have in 2010.
Oh my god. Yeah, Barrett's such a wasted opportunity. I'm glad he's doing well. I'm glad he's doing really good in commentary. Don't get me wrong.
Doing commentary?
Well, yeah, he's doing commentary with Graves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's the voice. He's the second voice of Friday Night SmackDown with, Graves being like the other guy.
Nice.
So that's good. I mean, he's doing well. I'm not saying he's doing bad, but it's like, yeah, you're doing well now. It's like, I'm a millionaire. You should have been a billionaire. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really it.
Yeah, WWE booking.
In that early days, in those Malay days of like the PG era, the reality era.
Well, let's go back to
SummerSlam 02.
Where the booking was a little better, in my opinion. Did you watch any match day and felt like, oh, the wrong guy won?
Huh.
I feel like the only one that where like the wrong guy won, to me, is Jericho.
Yeah, okay, so run me by the results quick-fire style.
Alright, so we had Angle over Ray.
Angle over Ray. Nah, I think that was a good one.
Yeah, Flair over Jericho.
I don't really have a dog in that fight, so really I can't say somebody should have won over the other one. It was just a very entertaining fight.
I just feel like when you're that old, I feel like you should give it to Jericho as a chance to be top again.
Not when you're Ric Flair, and not when it's like SummerSlam.
Right, which is why I'm saying I think the booking is wrong, even though like morally WWE like, oh, we gotta protect Rick or whatever.
No, and even then, I mean, Rick losing needs to be in a bigger stage because of the presence of Ric Flair.
I guess, but it is
SummerSlam.
Again, SummerSlam.
Yeah, it is SummerSlam. I get
York.
it, but I think they're probably saving it for like an even bigger match.
Yeah.
Again,
I don't. Yeah. I guess they're still working him as a potential singles guy since Evolution is not a thing yet.
Yeah, no. I mean, Ric Flair's just doing Ric Flair things right now. He's working with the young guys because he's got no one else to work with right now.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Jericho? Yeah, let's work together, sure. Right.
Had Eddie versus going over Edge. No, Edge beat Eddie.
Edge over Eddie.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. The wrestling was good enough that the result isn't really that, like, frustrating or anything. It was pretty good. I'll take Edge winning over Eddie. And besides, the story was well-paced. And again, as somebody who watches wrestling, you kind of learn to see where things go. I mean, it's just pattern recognition. The other one.
Un-Americans over Goldust and Booker T.
Sarcastically speaking, the Americans should have won every single match.
Sarcastically speaking?
Eh.
I feel like...
There's a bit of truth in jest.
I think the most interesting result that didn't happen would have been Test over Undertaker, even if it involved the Un-Americans getting in.
But that's for later.
Yeah.
You know, it's what I actually... Un-American should have lost this one, which they did, right?
No, they beat Goldust.
They should have lost this one, and they should have won with Test.
That would have been a nice mix-up.
Yeah, that would have been the better mix-up. So I guess that's the first one where I'm going to say, maybe the wrong guys won. It's booking Goldie. I mean, they'll be fine, even if they lose.
Yeah, Test winning would be interesting. Again, I feel like this is a Test appreciation podcast when I have you on, but...
Because, again, I
there could have been so much more with him.
I appreciate a lot of the underdogs, or a lot of the guys who could have been. You know, that's just my thing. You know, there's plenty of other Tests out there.
Yeah.
Even right now, there's plenty of other Tests in the company.
Big Cass,
another one, but it's complicated.
Yeah.
With Cass, it's complicated. He's got some demons to go through, and he's going through them right now. He's doing pretty good in AEW. Is he WWE bound back? I don't know. Maybe not yet.
Probably not.
But he's still doing good.
And then the next one was one of our two double main events: Shawn Michaels versus Triple H.
Already there?
Yeah, because we kind of talked about Test take.
We talked about Benoit too.
Oh yeah, Benoit RVD.
I'm gonna go ahead and just say RVD is a good win.
I think it. Again, we were wondering where the USA title was at the time.
Shelton Benjamin came in and stole it, and then he's like sleeping with it.
Yeah.
It's his comfort belt.
I have no idea. Maybe Tajiri has it. I don't know.
It was so unimportant, apparently.
But I think RVD winning because he was like the Raw brand, taking it that way, I think makes sense and adds on to the story. And Chris Benoit again he's at the time where he could move up to the world belt or hunt USA or something, get into a package with someone else. I think he's
got other places to go. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
RVD again. All of the future booking notwithstanding, and all of his all of the views that they have on him notwithstanding, where he's like, yeah, he's just stoner dude, right?
Yeah.
No. The guy's so much more. Another could have been. Where he's like, yeah, he's really good and he's really well appreciated, but he still could have been so much more.
Well, in 2006, they were ready to give him the so much more, but person you have an agenda against, smoking weed is the worst crime you could commit.
Oh yeah, no, it's right up there next to killing a man's entire family.
They treated about the same.
Yeah. So
in Vince's eyes.
Yeah, RVD winning. I'm not gonna throw a huff over it because again, it was good, and again, it's more the action that had me interested.
Yeah.
Because RVD got kicks.
Oh yeah, he got kicks. He's built like a John Moxley brawler, but he's all about the feet work.
Yeah. Again, the world's heaviest lightweight. It's great. It's awesome. But yeah, the two last main events, Taker Test. Well, 3, I guess. Taker Test.
Taker Test. Again, we love Test, but he's not a main event.
No, he's not.
That was
Taker's main event.
That was an American stomping party.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Oh, can you imagine the biggest party in America being usurped by the un-Americans?
That'd be fun.
New York would have rioted.
It'd be fun if this was like a buried alive match, and after the un-Americans buried, they drape them over like the upside.
Yeah.
I don't even know how that would look.
Wouldn't.
Yeah.
You just crumple the flag and throw it in with them.
Yeah, you could just do that. Throwing the bike on top of them.
Yeah. Tess just drags the bike on top of the burial.
Yeah.
Good Lord, Taker would have a lot of digging to go through, and his bike is not going anywhere. But yeah, the next two main events are H. Michaels,
where Michaels wins
and then gets promptly murdered for it.
Yeah, and then we don't see him.
I will admit I was a bit uncomfortable with that last spot, if only because that is a very risky spot. Anything in your neck is asking for trouble. I don't care how safe Triple H is.
Oh yeah.
Even a bit goes wrong, that return is axed.
Yeah, Michaels already paid the price for it back in January of '98.
Dude, yeah, no. I mean, he's rehabilitating himself, ready to get back on the big stage. And he's on the biggest stages, too.
Yeah.
He's only on the pay-per-views, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he showed up for a couple of Raws to give us story for this match, but this was his first match back.
But yeah, no, because again, what was his injury? What did he come back from?
Well, he come back from a back injury because he was doing a casket match with Taker at Royal Rumble 98.
Yeah, no.
And Taker missed his chokeslam a bit, which he landed like the base of his back on the casket.
Yeah, no. Oh, yeah. So yeah, right up there, you're gonna put a neck toward a hammer towards Shawn Michaels' neck. Again, I was a bit uncomfortable, but they made it work.
Yeah.
It testament being that Shawn Michaels is right now running NXT.
Yeah, and he got to rest up until I believe he came back for Survivor Series 2002.
Yeah, another thing that I have a caveat with this particular match is that Michaels didn't bleed nearly as much as I think he should have. Mm-hmm. He should have been able to at least match with Triple H. Yeah. That's the one thing I think that was missing from Michaels. I mean, they're probably going to make up for it in the next couple of matches where they both just bleed all over the place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it could be that he's saving it, which is fair because he's still coming back from an injury. So, fair enough.
I think it makes sense, especially how they book him afterwards with just, even beyond WrestleMania 20, he just fused with Edge for another 2 years.
Yeah, literally, that's his only target.
Yeah.
Benoit at 20, who cares? I'm here to just absolutely get my hands on Triple H and wring his neck because he put me on the shelf.
Yep.
That kind of thing, which makes sense. Yeah.
And then our main event, Rock Brock.
Rock Brock. Yeah, the Rock Brock party, which the thing I give it the edge over is that it was way faster.
Yeah.
Triple H's matches tend to be very plodding and slow. If you like that kind of methodical action, that's great. Mm-hmm. Can't say I'm a fan.
Yeah, it's like there definitely will be the like big budget film hits in the Triple H match, but it takes its time to cook.
It's way too long. At least for me it is, and maybe it's because I have ADHD, but it takes way too long for Triple H to cook. I'm like, dude, I'm hungry for the pulled pork right now, not in 3 hours when you're going to be done with it.
Yeah.
It was faster.
It was a lot faster until the dreaded Rock Sharpshooter.
I want you to answer me this question as honestly as you can.
Yeah.
We've watched The Rock recently. Has he recently done the Sharpshooter?
Yes.
I hate him.
Yeah,
look, there's a lot of reasons for me to not like The Rock. There's plenty of reasons for me to like The Rock. His Sharpshooter is the one reason I hate him. He has an awful, awful Sharpshooter. Like, can he not get another move? Cena has the god-awful STF. He should get something else. Rock has that god-awful Sharpshooter he stole from Bret Hart. He should get something else. There are hundreds of other submission moves that you can pull. Taker had the TCB where he just chokes you behind like this, and then he had Hell's Gate.
Yeah, Hell's Gate is really good.
Hell's Gate is impressive. Why, in God's name, do you not take a cue from the guy who's the standard in the business and say, hey, maybe I'll look into submission wrestling or things like that, or maybe I'll look at other moves that I can try that I can actually make look good. No, Rock and Cena both from the same damn hubris. It's a Sharpshooter. I can make it look good. Looks like an abomination. And it literally slowed the match down to the point where nobody was in it that much. At least those of us in the watch party here. I can't get over that.
I think it did come back up after a couple of bumps in the corner.
That ending sequence was great.
And then that ending sequence was pretty good.
Paul Heyman getting absolutely destroyed by a table, thanks to The Rock.
Oh yeah, that was the best moment during the break of the match.
Yeah, no, and it's definitely a bit of a flashback to what happened to him recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also got destroyed through a table. What was it, last Smackdown?
I'm not sure, but that sounds right.
Yeah, no, last Smackdown that just happened before we were watching this SummerSlam, he once again got put through a table, except instead of by one half Samoan, by 3 Samoans. Paul should not be taking bumps like that. Paul should not be taking bumps like that. Especially nowadays, he shouldn't be taking bumps. Back then, also no.
Well, until we had, during 2002, Vicky Guerrero doesn't exist yet. Yeah. So he was the only, we had GM
manager.
Yeah, we had GM figures like Stephanie and Eric Bischoff, Vince, but we didn't have a manager that we just want to see die.
Yeah, like Bobby Heenan back in the day.
Yes, it's been a while since we had one of those.
Yeah, so Paul Heyman fits that role. It's still dangerous.
Still dangerous, but
yeah, because I wouldn't put Bobby, if I could help it, I wouldn't put Bobby Heenan through a table. But I know how much people would want to see it happen.
Bobby Heenan making a grave mistake. I think he actually slapped Andre the Giant.
Slapped him right in the face. That could be the biggest mistake of his life.
Look at the fans.
He's panicking now. Andre just paintbrushed him.
Oh my god!
And I'm pretty sure Bobby Heenan would be like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Put through a table
Sounds like money.
by Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. Sounds like it'll work. Sounds like money. And then it gets thrown into a table.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. Brock definitely, especially that ending sequence, definitely went from high to low with the sharpshooter. And then once the ending sequence started picking up, it's like, oh man, this is looking good. And then it was over.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Brock's with the belt now. His first WWE Championship. It looked as good as like the chase while he had it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know at the time, I think it was shocking Big Show won it. The only thing that made it interesting that Big Show took it off of him was the fact that Paul went away from Brock to be Big Show's manager.
Yeah. I mean, not my favorite decision when it comes to booking, but if they see something.
I think where it kind of makes sense, I don't think Big Show is like a horrible talker on the mic.
No.
But I actually kind of like Brock on the mic when he's given that opportunity.
Well, I mean, he's shown multiple times that he can talk.
Yeah.
Like, his thing with Eddie, like his banter with Eddie has shown that he can talk.
Yeah.
When he actually talks and he's passionate about it, he can go. Heck, his talking segments with Roman, yeah, they work too.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I know you hate Roman, but again, that's the only other parallel I have because he didn't talk when he was against Cena. It was Paul Heyman.
No, well, he did, I think for Extreme Rules 2012, had like a bit of a promo, just like, I'm just going to kill John Cena.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Yeah. I mean...
I'm back to kill everyone, starting with Cena.
Yeah. And then he had the boombox.
And he had Heath Slater.
I don't give a shit your kids.
I don't give a shit about
your kids. Yeah. Again, he can talk, even if it's just short little snippets. But he can talk.
It has, I don't even know if I could recreate it, but just like...
Let's do this!
Yeah, that crazy voice crack on this.
Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg!
Yeah.
And just I'm pretty sure at this point you can fit a bunch of his random gorilla yells.
Yeah.
Just so many gorilla yells. It's great. But yeah, no, Brock can go. Brock can talk. Brock can fight. Brock can do it all. It's just that if he wants it bad enough. That's always been the caveat with him.
Yeah.
You saw it in the Moxley match. In the Dean Ambrose match. He wanted nothing to do with that.
It's kind of like throwing a basketball reference, like how people talk about James Harden, where if like James Harden, is invested, he looks like that all-star franchise carrying player.
But is he often invested?
But yeah, is he going to stay invested? No.
What's wrong with James Harden? Is he just like, I want to play the game, but I don't care?
Yeah, sometimes it's just like... Does
it feel it?
When he was in Brooklyn, he was like, this Kyrie nonsense is bothering me. I don't want to try anymore. I'm just going to get fat instead.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds like he has ADHD.
Yeah, he would just want to get out of scenarios that aren't like very perfect for him playing basketball. He needs... So it would be like, you hear stories with people going on like Undertaker's show or Stone Cold's show about like, yeah, sometimes they just like don't have anything for me, and like it's the onus is on you to provide creative ideas for what you want for yourself. But if I'm not booked for the title and I'm not in a great like attention grabbing rivalry right now, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
And that's what James Harden, I guess, felt when he's not the star guy anymore.
Yeah, he's not the star of his show, so he's like, well, I don't care.
Yeah.
Which, that is its own, but it is a good reference to how, again, Brock acts.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, if I'm invested, I'm bringing a freaking tractor and flipping the ring over. If I'm not, the Dean Ambrose match.
Yes.
It's literally the best example you can draw, because I'm pretty sure there are other times where he just doesn't care.
Oh, one of my favorite times was against Hardcore Holly.
Oh, yeah. Didn't he visit him, though, afterwards?
Oh, I have no idea. I just know they both, hated each other in real life, so as he goes to, pick up Hardcore Holly, Hardcore I forget what it's the actual wrestling term called, but he just dead-weighted him.
Sandbag.
Yeah, he sandbagged him. So then he's like, oh, you're going to sandbag me? I'm just going to drop you on your head.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure Brock did apologize for that one, and then they did have a bit of a friendly conversation.
Oh, that's nice.
From what I can remember. I could be wrong, worth looking into.
Yeah.
But, yeah, otherwise they wouldn't have stayed, cordial.
Yeah, because I know there are a lot of stories of, people saying Brock and Randy were, the least professional to work with. But then, the more established stars, like Undertaker and Stone Cold, is they're nice guys. But it's, because they have to respect you.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's someone that they don't have to respect, they're like, fuck you.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Would you ever do something, would you ever like say, they're nice to anybody? Or would you be somebody who's like 100% at all times? Yeah, I like you, I don't like you, I like you, fuck you. Like regardless of status, or do you take that status into account?
The honest answer is like, it depends where I'm at, like where's my money coming from.
Mm-hmm, fair enough.
If I'm like retired and like podcasting when I'm done with life.
Every single wrestler I work with was shit.
Yeah,
They all sucked. That was the best ever, and they all sandbagged me.
I'll turn into Scott Steiner on Ric Flair.
Oh my god, please.
Just tear into anyone.
Yeah, no.
But I would, as of right now, I'd like to say, yeah, I'd be honest in saying that guy's a really good guy, or no, that guy's a baby in the locker room.
Yeah, no, I feel like I'd be like that, because I don't know. I don't take status into account a lot of the times.
Well, yeah, because like at our jobs now, we kind of are honest with who we think are like is a good employee and who's a bad employee.
Yeah, no, but also I'm not somebody to hide emotions as well. I don't do that too good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I don't like you. Oh, sorry, I said that. I don't.
I don't take it back, but
I don't take it back, but
it's out there.
It's out there. Yeah.
Put in this image of the street. It's like, why do you have to be rude all the time? Well, I just generally don't like you as a person.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. If I generally don't like somebody, I can't help it. I just don't like you, So I think that might get me in trouble, though, and add, like, if I was to become a wrestler, because I'm like, yeah, that guy seems like a dick. That's the guy who's in the biggest program right now. He said he wanted to work with you. Whoops. Looks like I missed on a big money program.
Fumbled that one.
Yeah, no, that's literally what I would say. It's like, oops, fumbled that one.
I don't know how true this is now, but since, like, it's as the promo for this made it clear, it's the season that never ends.
Oh, yeah. That was during the baseball things, wasn't it? The baseball walkout? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they really hammered that one, didn't they?
A lot of it depends, I guess, on who you travel with, because I think even true now, you kind of travel with the same, like, 2 or 3 other superstars.
Well, yeah, you have to share costs. Even right now, it's still pretty expensive. If you're Cody, for example, you have your own bus. You can carry whoever you want, and you can just pay for whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're starting out on the grind, like, if you're an NXT guy, you're definitely sharing rides with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
You're renting the cars, you're paying the costs all together, you're making sure that you all get together through it. Doesn't matter how much in NXT you're doing. Again, it's the beginning stages.
Yeah. It's a little crazy social bonds because, again, like, you get away from everyone you work with, except here, where that's why WWE probably more than a lot of other places, you marry someone you're working with.
Yeah, and I mean, do you think that happens just in the big companies, or does that happen in wrestling in general?
I think that might have... I could imagine stories like that happened in TNA and WCW and... Mm-hmm. Probably even the early ECW in Japan.
Yeah, because again, they say like it's basically you get to know these people and you get to share like a lot of the same, joys, sadnesses, because they know what what you're going through. So obviously the best match for a wrestler is going to be the next other wrestler who's willing to marry them.
Yeah.
And nowadays relationships are, I would hope, a lot healthier. A lot less coke fueled.
Yeah.
And a lot less. It ended early by death.
I heard this crazy story of a wrestling storyline, like, took someone's marriage, made it into a storyline, and then it got ruined. And it's not like a Randy Savage Elizabeth thing where, like, their relationship in real life was really bad. It was like...
See, that's what I'm talking about, too.
There was a real marriage with a wrestler and their female superstar counterpart. And then they booked where some guy, like, homewrecker relationship, all that... But in real life, the girl then falls in love with that guy.
I mean, there's 2 instances where something similar happened.
Yeah, do you know the specifics?
Jeff Jarrett, Karen Angle, and Kurt Angle.
Oh, okay.
Kurt Angle and Karen Angle they had a bit of a storyline where it's like Kurt Angle was this kind of just like insulting towards his wife. Mm-hmm. But I think their relationship wasn't doing too well, and Karen Angle actually ended up getting together with Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah,
So that's one. The second one is Kevin Sullivan.
I think that might be the one I'm thinking of.
Because Kevin Sullivan booked his own divorce.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Kevin Sullivan was with Nancy at the time. Then he booked her with Chris Benoit. Nancy and Chris fell for each other. And then Nancy and Kevin divorced. And then she got together with Chris Benoit. So yes, when you mention Kevin Sullivan, the next thing you usually end up mentioning is, the guy who booked his own divorce.
Okay.
The other one, again, is Kurt Angle, because he was at Perk Angle era, which means he was completely unstable. He was he was a wreck. So, yeah, he was going to lose his marriage.
Let's rewind a tiny bit. The guy, Kevin Sullivan, booked his own divorce. The wife then goes on to Chris Benoit.
Yeah, they were a couple. They were booked as a couple. Kevin Sullivan was booking it.
Right.
Yeah.
So Kevin Sullivan booked his own divorce, which led into the person who got...
Yeah, it led into the double murder suicide. But that's down the line.
It's down the line, but...
Still.
So
I'm guessing... I was going to say... Kevin Sullivan booked the murder. Just long-term books, long-term storytelling. Dark humor, I know, but still. 2, I mean, can you imagine if he decided, I don't feel comfortable with booking my wife with you. I won't. Can you imagine that?
He booked his own divorce and just didn't like her anyway.
Oh, can you imagine? Yeah. That would have been that would be ice cold coming from Kevin Sullivan of all people.
Yeah.
That would be some mastermind shit that I would never put on him. But rewinding forward, the other one would have been
Kurt Angle,
Jeff Jarrett, and Karen. I'm guessing the multiple cucking angles that might have been happening around too. The most famous one being
there's Brian Punk,
Kane, the Rusev debacle.
Rusev, yeah.
I love it when Vince McMahon books a goddamn couple angle.
All right, well, Fox.
Stupid.
Sorry I had to turn out like this, but this is where I say goodbye.
No!
Alright, after the tragic passing of Fox, I got my producer Grink to fill in.
Tagging in. I know you guys have been hearing too much of me lately, but it is what it is.
They have to hear me every week.
Ah, God, that's brutal. Okay. I forgot about that. Where do you want to start? What do
you think of the whole show?
The whole show. So on paper, when you kind of read some of the matches, I was like, oh wow, that's a crazy stacked lineup. You don't really see cards like that too often, especially not at a non-WrestleMania pay-per-view. But I'm gonna be honest, I was a little underwhelmed with it.
Really?
Had a nice time. Maybe I just am at a point where I'm only seeing the absolute best. And so it's not my thing, so I don't have as good of an attention span. I had a great time watching it with everybody, but I felt like they were, unless it's done perfectly, I'm not into submissions very much, or unless there's a certain amount of drama and intensity, and I just felt like there are points where, and I get that submissions sometimes can be a rest point for the wrestlers. It's an insane amount of work that they're doing. But I would have preferred maybe some spots that lead into them both laying and resting. And so I felt like some of the matches dragged. It was very good.
Yeah. I think the spot where I'm thinking of the most where submission-wise it kind of just stood at a standstill was there was a big Benoit RVD point where Benoit was just on him. But he didn't put him through a table or do a headbutt splash on him, and he just held him forever. And Rob Van Dam couldn't do anything, and yet just magically the second time I think just breaks out of the crossface.
Yeah, there was a really weird crossface break there, and then there was also some in the Edge versus Eddie match. They went to my least favorite, the arm fall into. No, I just kidding.
We got to see that twice, like we did a lot of things.
I did develop a theory about SummerSlam 2002 that proved out to be quite prescient. Everything twice. If you check out this show, everything happens 2 times. What year was SummerSlam this year? What year was this year? 2002. 2 2s, and 2 is a number that means, it means 2.
It means twice. Yeah, because then we saw that brilliant wrestling tactic later with The Rock and Brock, where on the second one, Rock is like, no, fuck this, I'm not quitting.
You had 2 people get chairs kicked into their own face that they were wielding. I mean, again, just watch out for things happening 2 times.
If something happened in this match, it's going to happen again.
You can bet your sweet ass it happened again. Jerry Lawler wore a very fantastic jacket.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I like that in contrast with JR's black polo, slacks,
yeah,
hat.
JR looked like he was wearing company swag.
Yeah, he was working at Tires.
Right. Flair Jericho was funny.
Yeah. Just hear Jericho just dogging him the whole match.
Yeah, he kind of repeated a few lines like an NPC, and then there's one section out of the ring where Flair is stumbling forward, and he just says, "Oh, God!"
He runs into a cameraman.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So the grades I ended up with, I had the first match of the night as my favorite match of the night.
I agree. I think that was the best match. And I think that's common in this era since you have, like, the 6 powerhouses of Attitude Era, and then you're going to have, like, the SmackDown 6 plus a couple other randos, like, working it.
Yeah, so it was Rey Mysterio versus Kurt Angle, and as we talked about when we were watching, you get that nice... That's why Rey was so bookable. You get the nice discrepancy in size, and then also Angle is just a god-tier wrestler, and so it just all works. They kept the tempo very quick, and then you have a nice classic Angle lock. I was debating, because there was a little botch at the end.
Yeah.
It's very small. And then it was like kind of a series. Like 2 weird things happened at the very end.
Mysterio tried to, like, Hurricane Rana Angle, but Angle was designed to get out of it, but it looked very stuttery how he came down.
Right. And so I was like, man, am I going to knock it all the way down to 3.5 from 4? Because I had it as a 4-star. I ended up keeping it as a 4-star because I didn't find anything better. And I didn't want to paint the wrong picture. Anything about... Oh, Jericho Flair, we saw something interesting. He had the turnbuckle lace.
Yeah, that was weird.
I've never seen that before.
Me neither.
Jericho gets custom from time to time. And then Jericho's look was kind of Viking-ish. Had the braided ponytail and the big goatee.
Yeah, I think it was... In a rare moment where Flair's booked as the face, Jericho had to, like, look as scummy as possible.
And they got it right. They got that done, no problem. Jericho can do scummy all kinds of ways. He's a very versatile scum.
Yeah.
Edge versus Eddie. Edge talked about the way people talk about why guys in basketball, deceptively athletic. No, deceptively tall.
Yes.
He's a quiet 6'6", as Cam said.
Mm-hmm. I think also that was another, except it wasn't as dramatic, Benoit versus RVD, because I think Benoit RVD was, to me, a better match, just because the athleticism of Benoit doing all of his snap quick fucking things. But Eddie was kind of just dominating Edge a lot of that match.
Yeah. There were calls in the crowd here in the living room for Edge to top him. Top him, Edge! Top him. Oh, here we go. My second favorite match of the night on Pure Vibes. The Un-Americans versus Booker T and Goldust.
Yeah.
Man, I'd never seen the Un-Americans before. That is a gimmick that works for me, man.
Yeah, I also like that, because there's very common in wrestling to do just, like, the foreign heel team.
Right, but...
This is a strike on America.
Yes.
Not as much as, like, a League of Nations faction.
Right. It's not like, oh, oily mustache man's here to take our babies. It's just, Americans are dumb and weak.
Yeah! Let's go! America!
Maybe it's dumb, weak, we're cool.
Yeah. They don't pay. And if, I don't want to divulge too much, but if I see somebody waving a big upside down American flag as they come out to the ring, you're going to get me good. I'm going to be all the way over for that. I'm going to mark out on that. Or, I don't know. I guess Marks probably hate an upside down American flag.
I don't know.
But they get that done. It was kind of a chaotic match. I thought they did okay. Goldust is good in the ring.
No, yeah, Goldust handled the 1v2 quite a bit.
Yeah, he both handled it in that he just was a very giving performer, but also did some quick back and target switching. I would say that he's kind of underrated historically.
Yeah,
because he gets kind of overshadowed by his gimmick and how it stands like as a cultural kind of weird thing. Yeah, but just as a wrestler,
I would say he's not on that level, but because of the bizarre connection, how is he compared to like Dennis Rodman? Like, would you say Dennis Rodman's underrated, or you think Dennis is appropriately rated?
He's Dennis. Weirdly, also and we don't need to turn this into basketball. Although, also, by the way, Sixers are looking like they're going to sign Paul George. He opted out of his contract. Let's go. Dennis Rodman says so much about your basketball philosophy. At this point in my life, I think he's a little overrated, but I do enjoy the comparison. I just would have loved to have seen, and maybe this did happen. He obviously took some time before he got to the status that he did, but I'm not familiar with it. But before Goldust got the gimmick, like what was he? Was there a name that he was wrestling under? How did he do?
He was Dustin Rhodes, I believe, in WCW.
Okay.
And he looked kind of like, Sting before he became the Crow?
Yeah.
It was kind of that.
Okay. Sure. Also, they wisely minimized Booker T in this match. He didn't get a lot of...
Yeah.
He would basically get tagged in and to do 5 clotheslines. And
his scissor kick.
And yeah, that was it. We've really had a good time watching Benoit versus Rob Van Dam. Even though it wasn't quite my favorite. It's just a nice styles make fights kind of matchup.
Yeah.
I think I compared it to... if Belichick saw a weird wildcat offense where the running back was playing quarterback, that would be Benoit against Van Dam. He's like, what the hell is this, man? This is bullshit. And you guys touched on that a bit more than that, so we can, it was Benoit's just so savage, man.
Yeah, certainly was.
Taker versus Test.
Yeah, just to not repeat, we just talked about how we think this is probably the match that could have benefited from the opposite winner the most.
Yeah, that has to be true. I think it was just it was basically to complete what the stable was doing in this pay-per-view. You couldn't have the Un-Americans win in that match and then also just have Test wins. And you're less than a year removed from 9/11 and the Un-Americans are dominating wrestling and you're like, what the hell?
Well, I think that's why we would be down with giving the win to Goldust and Booker T.
Oh, yeah, I would switch that. I would switch that for sure. That tag team match doesn't need to happen in any particular way.
If you ever wanted to legitimize, Test, Christian, and Lance Storm as potential people, just Un-American standing over a upside-down flag draped Undertaker.
That'd be nasty.
Yeah.
The return of Shawn.
Yeah.
In those jeans.
He brought God in jeans with him.
Yeah. Man, I need to watch that match where he teamed with God.
Yeah.
Triple H sucks, dude. He's not good. He's quite bad, in fact. It's hard for him to... And, I don't like... the reason why they always have him in these kind of get outside the ring, weapons, spots, matches, blood, is to just cover him in as many ways they can.
Yeah.
Because he sucks. And Shawn Michaels is the greatest professional wrestler of all time, and so it should be enough to carry him, but unfortunately it's they need to set everything up in such a way, H bladed early.
Yeah.
And honestly, except for maybe a little bit in the beginning, it felt like Shawn Michaels had control of the match.
Yeah.
Almost the entire time. It was just weird. It was a weird
match because I had a lot of items. They felt like they had to use him given unsanctioned match.
Unsanctioned also, it's there's so much anticipation for it. They wanted to be wow, remember when this happened, remember when that happened.
Table spot, that ladder spot.
Yeah, and when done well, that's how you get your 5-star matches with a bad wrestler involved or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you get what you want from that when done well, but it just didn't work out this time for me.
I think in this era, a lot of the top guys need to, and I think they knew this too, just how they booked, they thought it'd be more extreme, but stay away from the outside stuff, no triple threats, no gimmicks.
I agree. I've always found that, if the story's right and the crowd's right, if you can just get them going 100% in the ring, that's what is going to be the most exciting. Not just for pretentious guys who don't like wrestling that much like me, but also just pretty much anybody.
Yeah, it's gonna the crowd it's the difference of your crowd waiting again for something to happen, whereas the crowd in like a baseball pitch scenario, like intense and then nothing happening.
Yeah, it's fine. They did fine.
Yeah, and I think you disagreed with the finish like initially, or maybe still do, but the consequence of leaving him crippled afterwards makes up for it.
Yeah, so we're talking about so Triple H got rolled up, but it was just so like so Triple H was stumbling. HBK, Shawn Michaels went for the super kick. Triple H caught it, went to the pedigree, didn't get the pedigree.
Yeah, Michaels reversed out of it
into the roll up.
Yeah,
and so playing it back in my head, it's not that bad. I think just the combination of Extreme Rules and Triple H covered in blood, and the build-up and the anticipation for the actual match to end in that way, I think you can have the match end in a more satisfying way while also still allowing Triple H to cripple Shawn Michaels. Like, I don't think you need Triple H to be fresh off of getting a weak pin for him to, like, for it to make sense for him to sledgehammer. Yeah. I think that you can probably just have Shawn Michaels celebrate for a long time in the ring, and then Triple H can get up and whack him.
Yeah. You do make a good point I didn't think of before, where if you're going to have an unsanctioned match, kind of weird that you would need nothing to just roll up win. But again, there might be some people like, well, yeah, you had everything, but you ended with a simple roll up. I don't think they were thinking that way in 2002.
Maybe they were, maybe they weren't. And again, I don't mind a roll up like in a lot of situations. It's just this particular one left a bad taste in my mouth. It's not like it's not like I think they're cheap. That's not how my brain works at all.
Our main event.
That's right, I'm a Paul Heyman guy. You know who else was a Paul Heyman guy?
I'm a Paul Heyman guy. He's one of my favorite parts of whenever I watch this stuff. He was a little subdued here before the match, but he got involved.
Yeah, no, I actually really can't remember a time where he did so much to the opponent directly. Like, you see him constantly doing the best theatrics of like disbelief of a pin count or like really rooting for Brock, but yeah, he put his hands on The Rock this match.
Yeah, he took off the German expressionist hat and put on the like conniving sidekick hat. Yeah. He landed 2 hits on Rock and then got rock bottom through a table.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. And then for the first half of this match almost, I was really digging it. I was like, oh boy, these two guys, this is going to be really exciting wrestling.
Double caveman.
Freaking psych. But they had some pace and they had some real energy and some cleanly executed reversals and slams. But
yeah, the Sharpshooter killed all momentum.
Rock basically was holding Brock's legs like a couple baguettes in the crook of his arm next to his... It's just not a thing.
I didn't mention this... we did talk about the Sharpshooter a little bit, but I didn't mention this earlier and I wanted to. You're thinking of, like, if The Rock wanted a submission, what should he have instead? For something that he can't do, just give him, like, the $1 million dream. Just give him, like, a sleeper hold from the back if you really want a submission that bad.
Yeah, I don't see why. Anyways, yeah, okay.
And again, he doesn't need a submission, but if you wanted one, give him something he can understand how to do.
Yeah. He is more of saying what to Kevin Hart kind of brain. That's his wheelhouse. Or like looking surprised in a cool way.
Yeah, wrestling wasn't one.
Wrestling, he's not. It's good that he ended up making $1 billion making ass movies. Yeah. That was his calling. And kind of same for Cena. They're kindred spirits.
Yeah.
Cena and The Rock. Cena's legitimately extremely charming in the movies.
Yes.
Nowadays. He's gotten very good at acting.
Oh, Big Dave.
Not very good, but you know what I mean.
Big Dave shadows both.
Big Dave might have been the worst wrestler of the three. I might even go so far to say.
Possibly.
But is certainly the best actor. I know there was a story of M. Night Shyamalan because he did knock at the cabin. That was he was talking it like Batista Dave was saying how nice Shyamalan was, because Shyamalan was encouraging him, like, I wrote this role for you because I know you could do it, and you need to be, like, I think you could afford to be less compromising with the roles that you take. Like, you have legitimate range. You don't have to take these kind of strongman type roles. This was you. He was. I've seen clips of the movie. I haven't seen the full movie. I'd be interested in seeing the full movie. He was good in it, and I think that I wouldn't be surprised if a director with a kind of vision like M. Night was able to utilize him in something that gets him actual like award buzz in the future. I think I could see it happening.
Yeah, I've said that I think sometime between 28 and 35 not years, but like 2028, 2035, he might get a supporting nomination.
Yeah,
I think it's possible.
If he could, once he like slims down a little, gets a little older.
Mm-hmm. I think the first thing I remember seeing him in was being a nameless bad guy, but like still like one of the main henchmen in Spectre, that James Bond film.
Yeah. Oh, right.
And again, I can name a lot of things that he's been in, but I think that's the first time I'm like, oh, is that wrestler?
Mm-hmm. Always the henchman, never the hench.
Yeah. That's how he was in wrestling as well.
Yeah.
He had a moment in 2010 where, because for a while he was like feuding with Taker on SmackDown for the World Championship, but then in 10, he was the big bad against Cena for the WWE title.
Keep on kissing babies and hugging fat girls.
Did you mention when you were talking about the RVD match how he has just the goofiest set of offensive moves?
Yeah.
We were like, hit him with the thingamajig! RVD! Finish him! Use the gadget!
Yeah. I remember saying that Rolling Thunder is just Sonic Neutral B.
He could have introduced maybe like a Mike Hagar style lariat where he just spins with his fists out.
Yeah.
I think I would rank it Ray, Kurt, Benoit, RVD,
Eddie Edge.
That one, I didn't enjoy that one very much, and I don't know why. Maybe I just wasn't locked in. Maybe I got it twisted. But I would probably go triple.
Oh, Un-Americans.
No, not the match. It's just I love hating America. So, what was the
Jericho Flair?
No. It was probably Triple H, HBK,
okay.
and then you can go Edge, Eddie, and then honestly Rock, Lesnar, and then the tag team, and then Jericho, Flair, and then Test.
Oh, Test Taker.
Test Taker would be last for me.
We all knew what was going to happen in Test Taker.
Yeah. But it was like there was the Jack Swagger Cesaro tag team.
Oh yeah, the Real Americans.
The Real Americans. But it was funny because Swagger had like a Make America Great Again.
Yeah. Zeb Coulter was his manager, who was just a MAGA guy.
Yeah, but like, and so Cesaro was the one that all the like wrestling nerds were like, "What you're good at wrestling? You're not booking him right." And then they gave him like, I thought that the Real American tag team situation was pretty sweet, and people were like into that, and.
Yeah, Cesaro had this thing where right after Real Americans, he was then given like, maybe Whispers of Icy title.
Yeah.
But it's, if you're in the mid card, if you work with The Miz, as soon as you're done working with The Miz, you're not as good.
Yeah.
Cesaro, I think, again, had that moment where people were like loving everything he did, having that NXT match with Sami Zayn and that sort of thing. But then I think he found himself again in the Bar when he was in a comedic tag team with Sheamus. I love the Bar.
Yeah, the Bar's not bad. The Bar's not half bad. It's the tag team division is so difficult to like book.
Yeah, I think it's so weird for me because to me the comedic face team is always the best. I don't care for a legitimate trying face team like Usos or New Day.
No, those are. I mean, I don't mind. New Day's kind of...
I don't mind New Day, but...
So less said about them, better. But like Hell No.
Yeah, Team Hell No was
Hell
great.
No was amazing.
Damien Mizdow.
I think the biggest takeaway from this pay-per-view for me, or some of the biggest takeaways, were Angle is my GOAT currently.
Yeah.
I can't think of a wrestler I'd rather see right now show up in a match than Kurt Angle.
A lot of people have mad respect for Kurt, not only just for the wrestling skill, but I love Kurt as a foil to all of the comedy in the Attitude Era. His naivete is so precious to that era.
It's a beautiful thing to bounce off of, and he's just very entertaining. He's extremely entertaining. Yeah, the Olympics, but he's a great wrestler, but he is a very rare combination that you don't ever see really.
Yeah, and just legitimately, saying integrity, intelligence, intense, and not getting why people are hating him.
Yeah. These are the best things you could. What the hell?
Yeah.
what the hecking gosh?
One thing I want to ask you about this pay-per-view.
Yes.
I think not that you sit down and watch pay-per-views all the time, but if you could possibly remove being 15 and watching SummerSlam 2013, how does this stack up to SummerSlam 2013 for you?
I would need to go back to the card. I don't even know what was happening besides Daniel Bryan at that point in time.
Brock versus Best, CM Punk.
Okay.
That's their Triple H Michaels of that pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
That had to have been better than
the debut of Bray Wyatt against Kane in the Inferno match.
Oh, that was good. No, I mean, again, I was this was a really good pay-per-view compared to most pay-per-views, but I was relatively lukewarm on it compared to what I was expecting going in, and so I think 2013, even if it's a worse era, is solid.
The story around Bryan would destroy most.
It's not
of
just. I mean, I'm
not even saying your love of Bryan, but just everyone's love of Bryan and that moment of Bryan was similar to 40 Roads, where that moment clears most events.
Oh, do you want to watch that today?
Sure.
Okay. So also, I would never really watch wrestling by myself. That's just not something I've ever. But I do genuinely enjoy watching it with people.
Yeah.
And so another part of what I think makes good wrestling is stuff that promotes a camaraderie or a rooting interest, or we always love it when one of us gets tricked by a pin. That's that's my favorite thing is when when either I'm oh, that's it, and then it's not it, because you think you know, you always think you know, and you're no way,
you thought you're fucking smart.
You think you know, but you don't know. And then another takeaway is more upside down American flags. And then lastly, make Shawn Michaels also Blade. I don't care if he's coming. They needed to both be covered in blood. I would have actually genuinely enjoyed that match a little bit more if they were both covered in blood. It's weird, but I'm just keeping it 100 blood.
I think most people agree with that.
Thanks.
Especially, well, they get it right, because in Royal Rumble 2004, it's a last standing match where they're wasted in blood.
Cinema. I don't like war movies where it's I hope that the rebels succeed. I like Scorsese. I like Tarantino. I like random dudes just getting shot up all the time. They're all bad guys.
Yeah. Participating that made you bad.
Yep. This shouldn't be. There's no God here.
Mm-mm. Only in Shawn Michaels' corner.
There's no Filipino 440 or whatever the hell is on his tank, on his wife beater. You can't put a God quote on a wife beater.
Yes, you can. It's
incongruous. Maybe that's just the Kurt Angle in me. Kurt Angle a God. Kurt Angle the atheist would have been a nice gimmick.
Yeah, that's what he was in TNA while he was just on Percocets the whole time.
I don't worship God. I worship the sauce.